Today we are going to talk about how you can spot a fake sorcerer. So you have a lot of fake sorcerers out here, and they usually take your money and go away with it and actually do not provide the service or just imitate providing a service and then scam you. So how you can notice those people? The first red flag and most common one is outrageous claims, like I can kill you your enemy within an hour, or I can bring you your law within 3 days, or I can give you $1 million within a week, or something like that. So those outrageous claims are usually made by scammers. Another usual sign of a scammer is he will offer extremely complicated rights for extremely cheap price. I will give you the most, the most common example. So I will give you one example I noticed recently. One guy sold a haunted doll for $60. Now, let me explain why this is obviously a scam. There are only two ways to haunt a doll. One is to curse a doll and put a lot of negative energy into it, in which case the doll will be literally something which will kill the owner of the doll. And another way you can make a doll haunted is to house a spirit within a doll, and housing need to be so advanced that the process of housing itself, according to what I received as knowledge, can kill the operator who is trying to house a spirit. So if somebody is selling you haunted doll for $60, he's literally selling something which can kill him as an operator while he is making a doll, or it can kill you, and he is making the price of $60. Now, I don't have to be a genius, and you don't have to be a genius to realize why this is obviously a scam. Another type of a scam I saw really often is people claim that they have a jinn bound to the item, and jinn can do miraculous things, and rings are usually extremely expensive. And then they don't provide you any means and tools to work with the spirit. So I will tell you why this is obviously a scam. So how binding spirit to object work? You create a natural link between spirit and object. So when you cool the spirit while you are possessing the object and carrying the object, spirit can come more quickly because there is astral chain between object and the spirit. And he needs to give you a tool to connect to the spirit, because if you don't have a tool to connect to the spirit, like a sigil, chant, incantation, name, or anything of that nature, the only thing which will happen is, even if the spirit is bound to the object, connection will weaken over time, and the spirit will simply not be linked to the object in any way, and object will lose any power it has. So even if those sellers somehow bound the spirits to the object, which I absolutely doubt, because if they bound the spirit to the object, they would be able to give you tools to work with the spirit. Spirit would go if you do not have tools of contacting it and working with it. Another extremely common scam is like you pay them to give you information, and they give you something which is absolutely impossible for you to do. Like, they tell you to recite some extremely lengthy conjuration for 100 times within a day, despite the fact that conjuration is so lengthy that reciting it 100 times within a day is impossible. Another type of spiritual scammer and usual tactic they use is they will approach you on their own and tell you that they discovered you are cursed by some ridiculous method nobody heard about. And when you ask them to tell you a method, they won't tell you a method, and then they will ask you money to perform a spell for them for the curse you allegedly have casted upon you. And it will usually be, their spell will usually be some ridiculous shit like making a cake or something. Like, it will be absolute nonsense. So what scammers do is they also invent that you are cursed. In majority of cases you are not, and they ask you money to remove a curse which doesn't exist, and it's usually for them to do some ridiculous gimmick which doesn't have any connection to the occult whatsoever. Another extremely common scam in this occult community or whatever is scam related to demonic pacts. Now, what they tell you is that you make a demonic pact, pay sorcerer so and so, and then it will all happen on its own. It's not how the pacts work, okay? If you make a pact, you actually need to work with the entity on your own, and you need to be capable of working with the entity. So, even if somebody is able to make a one-sided pact, in which you make a pact with the spirit, and then you don't have to do anything in order for the spirit to do something, because what you gave in a pact was so valuable to the spirit. I don't recommend those types of pacts, even if they exist, but majority of people who are offering them as a spiritual service are actually scamming people. So another type of scam, extremely common scam, is love spell scam. They tell you, if I cast for you a love spell for so and so amount of money, person so and so will come to you in 3 days. That's absolute nonsense. Nobody can give you exact time scale, an exact time frame for spell to manifest. It depends from case to case. And also, there is one common scam, extremely common scam, and that's the fact that some people present themselves as gods on earth. That's actually the most common. I don't speak about the concept of godhood here, like the concept of us being some kind of divine beings which practice magic, okay? I can understand that concept. I disagree with that, but I can understand it. But what I talk about, what kind of spiritual scam I talk about here, is a scam in which somebody presents himself as a fucking incarnation of Lilith and Lucifer, okay? And presents himself to be the only true incarnation of Lilith and Lucifer. And this is the most dangerous scam, because those people form cults and form groups of people which venerate them, and this is absolutely disgusting. So I really think this will help you to notice scammers, and this is enough for today.